big needles for breakfast, dinner and tea, because that's the way this life goes. Hello, my name is Ingrid Wagner and I'm here today to teach you how to do the linen stitch. And on my left here is an example of the linen stitch in a bag, and on my right here is an example of a linen stitch for a chair cover. Now, the whole thing about the linen stitch is that it locks your fabric into place, and it means that you don't have to line anything, and there's no stretch in it at all. So when it comes to a bag, your keys, your phone, nothing will fall out of it because it's really, really tight. And it's brilliant for actual chair covers. You can use it to create a fabric which will not let anything through, basically. So there you go. So we're going to just learn the basic linen stitch, and you can make that into, as I say, into a bag, a chair cover or anything. Now we're going to work with a pair of big knit needles. The bigger the better is what I say. And our big knit yarn. And it's a bigger fabric than maybe you would normally work with. It's it's recycled, and it's a selvage of industrial weaving, which would otherwise just be thrown away as waste. You put big needles and big yarn together and you get your results quickly, and that's exactly what we're looking for, and actually probably what you're looking for too. So here we go. This is the linen stitch. Right, so on this one we're going to do the linen stitch, and we are going to use the big knit yarn and this size needles, as I said earlier. So let's just cast on. It's going to be an even amount. I've just done a slip stitch there. There are different ways of doing slip stitches. Any way you use can be absolutely fine. And to do the linen stitch, you're casting on an even amount of stitches, and the linen stitch can produce a fabric which doesn't stretch, and we're going to use it for a bag, or you can use it, as I said earlier, to cover a chair. Now, I know when some people cast on with their thumb, but this needle way of casting on makes your fabric stronger, gives you a nice strong edge, and because we're using big yarn, that's what we need, is a nice strong edge. Okay, now if you were making this size bag, you are creating, I think it's 20 stitches. Let's just check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yes, 20 stitches. All right, for the bigger bag. For now, we're going to do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Done 12 stitches, which is fine. If you were doing the cover for the chair, that's almost like a pillow. It's one long piece which has just been folded up and sewn up the sides. I'll tell you about sewing up afterwards. So you just literally, you cast on the number of stitches that you need for the width of whatever it is you are making. So if it's a long chair back, you'll need more stitches, and a short chair back, you'll need, surprisingly enough, less stitches. Okay, so the idea here is knit the first stitch, then bring the yarn to the front as if you were going to purl. Put your needle in purlwise, but don't purl, just slip it off. Take the yarn back round the other side, knit the next stitch, bring the yarn forwards, do exactly the same thing, put the needle into the stitch purlwise and just slip it. Take the yarn back again, and can you see what's happening? Every time you move the yarn, it's locking the stitch into place. It's not going to move because you've locked it in with the yarn. So that's your repeat over this row. You knit one and then you slip one purlwise, move the yarn, you knit one, move the yarn, slip one purlwise, move the yarn. There you go, it's locking it into place. Knit one, move the yarn, oops, sorry, oh, there you go. Move the yarn, slip one purlwise. Now that's quite funny because on the pattern, what it says, knit one, hold on, let me just finish this and I'll tell you what it says on the pattern. Slip one. So you'll always finish the row with a slip one. Now that, totally accidentally, I assure you, slip I made there. It does say on the pattern, don't watch any Johnny Depp films while you're doing this stitch because you may lose your concentration. This might include talking to anybody while you are doing this stitch because you might lose your concentration. However, I don't think there's anything worse than, or anything better really, than watching a Johnny Depp film and losing your concentration. Alright, so onwards. So the next stitch you do the opposite way around. You start it with a purl. So, purl the first one, move the yarn to the knit side, to the dark side, to the knit side, and you slip the next stitch knitwise. Move the yarn back again, purl, move the yarn, slip the stitch knitwise, move it back again. So all the time you're repeating those two stitches. Whatever you started the row with, you are repeating, okay? Purl, slip it back, knit, sorry, slip it knitwise, purl, move the yarn, slip it knitwise, and purl, and slip knitwise. Now you'll notice when you finish on a purl row, call it a purl row, your yarn will be round here. When you do a, what we call it, a knit row, it will be round here. So if you've just done a row which is purl, slip one knitwise, your yarn will be round here. Alright, and you're now going to start with a knit. So just take it round there, okay? Because that very action wraps the yarn around the stitch and slip. And so you keep going like that. There is no variation to that at all. It's simply, that's what you do. And you slip it. And you can do it in obviously any colour that you want to. You'll notice what I've done there is sometimes if you find that knitting the stitch, what I sometimes have the habit of doing, I just slip the stitch onto the other needle, put the yarn around and do that. Just habit really. Okay, so you're just repeating that all the time, and you can see where the yarn wraps itself around here, and you have a really tight fabric. There is no gap in that. There's no gap in that at all. All right, and if it shows up really, really well on the black and white. There you go.
and particularly on the bags and on the, here we go, small shoulder bag. Now these are done literally a long piece of fabric. I think that one probably is about 14 stitches on the pattern, I think. And then a long piece of fabric is made, and then this piece is just folded up and sewn together. Now you don't need a needle for sewing up at all, and how do you sew up? Like this. So you cut yourself a piece of fabric. I'm just going to show you an example of sewing up. So you'd have, here we go. Okay. You'll sew, no needle necessary, all right? If it's two, say for example you're sewing two edges together, let's just do that. I'll take it out afterwards so it won't be a problem. All right, so literally just push the fabric through. Use your fingers. You can tie a knot in the end if you want to do that. Okay. All right, and then push it through. It's like a blanket stitch. All right, on the other side. So, and you literally just push it through like that, and there's enough gaps in big knitting for you to be able to do that, even with a different coloured thread. It's like overstitching it really. You can hardly see it, so there you go. And you can't see it at the side, you can't see it at that side, and you certainly can't see it here. So there you go. That's the linen stitch, and that is just a blooming good idea for your bags and your chairs. Anything you don't want anything to fall out of. All right, the button is just stitched on the front of the small bag there, and pulled through. Of course, you get the whole thing in a kit from us, if you choose to do that. All right, lovely, really nice stitch.
Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed learning the linen stitch today. You can see how tight it is and how it would just, if you extend it, it will just make that fabulous bag, or it will make the chair cover. Absolutely brilliant on your interior textiles, this particular stitch, because, you know, if you have an absolutely awful coloured chair like the one I'm going to show you that this belongs to, then you would really want to maybe throw the chair out. But hey, why do that? Just knit a cover for it in the linen stitch and it will just become as good as new. So let's just put it back over there. And in the meantime, happy big knitting. For breakfast, dinner, lunch and tea. How about dessert? That's free to finish. Sweet as sweet can be. Big knitting. I could eat spoonfuls of it every time.